Hello, it's been a while since I've posted on this channel. I'm posting everything now on Robert Milligan Jr., but I just got a strike, and it's very important that I get information out right now. So I'm posting it here instead in the hopes that it will get to the correct people. I am sharing with you an email that I sent this morning. I sent it to the following people: Elaine Bryan, the Chief of Police; Officer Lutz; Officer Connor; Officer Hicks; Officer Myers; Officer Scalfani; Department of Inspector General of Columbus; Patty Ryan, my mom; Probate Court of Franklin County, and the prosecutor. I attached an article from 1974 that talks about V2K being a success and scientifically possible. I include a narrative that NETCARE filled out. The police called the crime of imposters coming into the neighborhood a delusional belief, and NETCARE calls a delusional belief Havana Syndrome, RNM and V2K. All of those things are real, but they are causing hospitalizations that are unnecessary. I've had 24 in 5 years because my neighbors have lied. I also included an audio file from 2019 of Patty Ryan calling and talking about Secret Service visiting her. Then I included a link to YouTube, my YouTube channel, with a Halloween 2022 conversation with Patty Ryan where the two stories don't match. So she's lying. She's either lying to me or she's lying to the police. But either way, she's lying. And men did come to visit her. So, I will now read what I sent. I'd like to begin with this problem I'm having with my mom, because she believes the doctors and the police. My mom trusts voices of authority, as do all of my friends. The doctors don't believe me because there were no reports of crime filed. Police refuses to let me report crimes. Police rely on what the professionals say as a way of avoiding the crime that is still ongoing. I need the police to support me with validity of the crime of the imposters coming into the neighborhood. The police tell my friends and doctors, tell my mom, all this is delusional beliefs. Now all my friends won't talk to me, treat me like shit, don't believe me, and call the police and NETCARE, stating I'm having delusions or delusional beliefs, spurring a new case and another probate court hearing. The police ignoring this crime for more than a year and a half has resulted in an entire city refusing to believe the truth too. RNM and V2K are both real things, but NETCARE calls them, along with Havana Syndrome, delusional beliefs, causing hospitalization after hospitalization. I speak honestly of my experience of being tortured in slow coke with cancer-causing microwave radiation, and am an activist at ending the unconstitutional and illegal surveillance program the NSA has used for more than 20 years. V2K is one of the many capabilities of the RNM program that uses microwaves to operate. I refuse to stay silent about my experience with and knowledge of the devil tool the government loves so much. I hypothesize that RNM is really what COVID is because the symptoms of radio wave sickness are the same as COVID. Whether I am correct or not, I am allowed in the United States to have free speech and to say what I believe without fear of prosecution or persecution. What the police and NETCARE are doing is very illegal. I'm concerned about the federal government coming in to take care of this case and all the bogus paperwork generated by lies of neighbors and friends who do not believe in RNM and V2K. I need this problem in my life of the entire city and family not believing my experience ended. The police need to give validity of the crime that started it all because Patty and Arvid are planning with this imposter and directing neighbors in a voice of false authority. The neighbors believe is legitimate. Find below many lies told by Patty to me on Halloween and where to find them on the YouTube video of the conversation I had to put online because the police refused to address the crime, and others that I've tried to report since 2018. The police created everything for Patty Ryan, and my whole life is ruined. And now the police, after telling information, I think, to the real government that came from the imposter, might follow the instructions of the federal government to do something to silence me forever, so they can keep using the secret RNM program to slow kill with microwave radiation to satisfy Executive Order 12333. Regardless of this information, I am standing up for my rights as a citizen and trying to protect the population with educating the public about this dangerous military-grade weapon in the hands of government employees and private security companies subcontracted by the government that has access to this most addictive drug on the face of the planet, remote neural monitoring. The Supreme Court said this about V2K. It is the most heinous torture known to man. That means it's real. If the Supreme Court says this is the most heinous form of torture, that means it's real. I don't think that the Supreme Court would say something is the most heinous form of torture if it wasn't real. Regardless of your belief in everything above, I believe them, and because I can prove they are real, the police and NETCARE need to stop calling them delusional beliefs, because it is causing harm in my life. Citizens cannot be imprisoned for what they believe. That is unconstitutional. Ignoring me, as if following the lead of the federal government to ignore targeted individuals, is illegal to do because local law enforcement is responsible for the reporting of crime within their jurisdiction. If the police don't allow reports, it is the same as if the crime never occurred. If both local and federal law enforcement ignore the crime of daily torture, it makes a victim suffering rightless in a lawless land. It also produces negligence if ignored long enough with constant requests for help, which is exactly as I have done. The crime of the imposters in the neighborhood needs addressed, and the liars to tell the truth now. Please help stop Patty Ryan and Arvid from lying. They are trying to silence me by saying I am mentally ill, and the police created everything. 24 hospitalizations is enough in 5 years' time. Address the crime and talk to me. I pay property tax, and services available to all residents include me as well. Stop discriminating against me. I have suffered enough. I will not be silent of my experience ever. The government should not target innocent and defenseless people and expect victims to remain silent. If they don't want people talking about it, they shouldn't make people experience it. As I stated in a previous email, I caught Patty lying on Halloween during a meeting we had at my house. There were 7 incidents of lies that contradict the truth that I found. I wonder how many lies you find listening to her answering me. In other words, what did they tell the police, and how is it different from what she tells me? And why would she lie to me? And why would she lie to me so many times? Because you refuse to communicate with me and refuse to act as mediator, which you do all day for every other resident in the city with domestic violence or neighbor disputes, I recorded the conversation in my living room. Because you refused to assist, I decided to bring the conversation to you. I sent an email, actually a few, to the sheriff's department. In 2, I included the recording along with the July 2019 911 transcript. You've all been given the transcript in previous emails where Patty talks about the Secret Service visiting and retells events in DC that are false. But I am including it again, so you don't have to hunt through the 50 emails I've sent over the last year and a half since getting the CD-ROM in June 2021. The quotes below are from the YouTube link, and I included the time for easy reference. For the 2019 transcript, please reference 2 minutes and 28 seconds to 3 minutes and 3 seconds for the important information that the Division of Police calls delusional beliefs. Real Secret Service would never visit a neighbor telling stories about another neighbor that are false. Plus, when they visited me, they wore jeans and said when they left, "You should see a psychologist," which was him telling on himself about going over to Patty's to speak about me having a mental illness when I only had 1 prior hospitalization my entire life. And neighbors caused all 23 others by being either the caller or the witness in the last 5 years. NETCARE continues to use Patty Ryan, the liar, for validation to perform hospitalizations. Number 1. Patty says, "Only met him once," speaking about the imposter. It proves the event happened because she says that she talked to him once, so we can all agree that it happened. On September 15th, 2021, a meeting with Patty is what the imposter had, while Arvid met with FWA 5666. The 2 guests spoke after for 20 minutes between their cars. The imposter, HLO 9533, visited Patty this summer and stalked me from her porch. The imposter renovated Arvid's home this summer. Friends? Pay to scam Patty? Since 2019, the imposter has become a government celebrity to the neighbors. I asked, number 2, I asked, "Did he tell you I have a mental illness?" Patty answered, "I don't know." Why did Patty call the police to perform all the mental evaluations the next few years? You see, I think she was coached to call them often, and I need her to tell me that. I need her to tell me that the man said I had a mental illness. Number 3, I asked, do you have his card or information? Patty answered, I don't think he left any information with me. 2 days before we met for the meeting, Joanne said Patty had his card. They live in the same house. Joanne said to me they checked his identity. That is a lie. Patty says later in the recording that Joanne might have his card and she will check. She's avoided me ever since. I text or call her every day, at least once. She never responds back. I say, I need your help. Patty says, okay. I say the police don't believe me, because they don't. I say it is illegal to impersonate a federal officer, and Patty agrees with me. Patty says you get into severe trouble for doing it. This is true. I tell Patty to inform the police of this imposter in the neighborhood. Patty has not done that, so the imposter continues to be believed by neighbors and police. And number 5, I asked, what spurred all the calls to the police, and why is NETCARE over at your house all the time? Patty answers, NETCARE has not come over to my house. And I don't think they've ever come up the steps. License plate number EHG 6824 walked onto Patty's porch after being inside and said, well, we can't promise anything, but there will be testing and an evaluation on August 15th, 2020. That would be a NETCARE representative, because the lady was not wearing a uniform. They should check the license plate. Annie G, license plate Annie G, had a long conversation about meth with Patty. A stay of detention was performed the next day. And number 3, I have all the 911 transcripts of Patty calling 911 to do something to me. So why is she lying to me? My friends believe that it is just me rambling. What's going on is really sick. And my neighbor Patty is in a shitload of trouble. And so is Arvid. And they're remaining silent. And the police and government don't want me talking about RNM because it's a way to illegally know anything that's happening inside of anybody's home. That's not a paranoid thought. It's the truth. I cannot help it that people do not believe me. But the truth is that the program exists. There's a reason why I'm trying to spread the word. It's to save your life. It uses microwaves to operate, and microwaves cause cancer, and they break DNA. So you will develop cancer. It's not a question of if. Everybody will develop cancer. That will be the way that we all die. All sorts of different cancer. Me, as a targeted individual, is especially vulnerable to brain cancer because V2K was used, which made my skull vibrate and my inner ear move. And that would be my captors talking to me. It's not a delusional occurrence. It's not a hallucination. It's not drugs. I need my friends to stop believing in stereotypes and discriminating against me. I'm honestly a suffering man. And you keep blowing me off. When this is over, we will not be friends. Because I need your support right now. And when I get through this, I will find new friends because I'll have a lot of people interested in me. I will be successful because I'm correct and I have no fear. I'm very brave because I'm right. And when you're right, you do not back down. I will not allow other people to project my future. And I know that the police are used to doing that all the time. They create a future for people. And they're not very fond of people with a history of drug use. So they discriminated against me. And then they created a mental illness because I went in so many times. And the doctors don't believe me. They don't believe me because when they check with the police for reports of crime, there are none. I've tried. I'm blocked. The police are just complete shits to me. So I've gathered evidence of the police doing nothing. Being lazy can get you into trouble. And I think with the amount of emails I've sent and can document, because everything is consistent that I have sent them, there's no variation. Everything is completely accurate. They probably deleted them. But I've got them. And a judge can look through them all. I'm not making anything up. And my friend's disbelief of me is killing me, literally. Because you're calling NETCARE and the police saying I'm sharing delusional beliefs. It's real crime. So they take me in, and I am forced toxic medicine. Like a COVID jab. 24 times. Petty lies. She performed a lot of hospitalizations. NETCARE was over at her place all the time. I don't know where this one came from. On the narrative, it said, not wearing shoes. I was on my own property. It was summer. That caused a hospitalization. Another time, Jason Ferris said, quote, witnessed in his front yard with a megaphone accusing neighbors of doing things. False. It did not happen, but they took me in anyway. I don't know why my neighbors would lie, but I'm pissed as hell. And they can all lose their homes if the police are going to continue to not address this. The damages and pain and suffering are going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. Because I am honest, I will be believed. I can't believe the amount of discrimination and prejudice that I'm meeting. I have a really important video coming to me, or going to be coming to me when I mail in my dollar, because you have to mail it now because of COVID. It is of an officer that I played the 911 audio of committing a crime. My neighbor, Patty, telling of the Secret Service coming to visit her, and then that I was arrested and got in trouble for what was on my computer. That is not true. So the real Secret Service did not come because the real Secret Service would not lie. I don't know why this is so difficult for people to understand. But the police are going to do this correctly. Have a good evening.